Ever wondered what happens when a rising basketball star issues a big demand, only for her performance to unravel at the worst possible time? That's exactly what's unfolding with Angel Reese, a player many considered the future of women's basketball. One minute, she was on her podcast claiming she deserved top-dollar pay and threatening to boycott if she didn't get it. The next, she was bricking point-blank layups in a game that should have been her moment to shine. Why did this happen, and how did she become the center of a media firestorm? Angel Reese didn't mince words when she announced she wanted a heftier paycheck, otherwise she'd sit out. To some, it sounded like an overdue call for change, especially in a league often criticized for lower salaries compared to other major sports. But to others, it felt like a leap. After all, she was still on a rookie contract and had yet to truly dominate the WNBA stage. Her statements landed with a jolt. On social media, fans debated whether her ultimatum was gutsy or misguided. One side argued she had every right to fight for a fair slice of the revenue pie. The other side dismissed her demands as premature, given the league's reported losses and Reese's unproven track record at the professional level. Still, the more she talked, the more her confidence soared. She hinted that she and other players would unite to force better salaries, a strategy typically hashed out in league meetings rather than teased on personal podcasts. The messaging was loud, intense, and borderline defiant. Pay up or risk a mass boycott. Yet even this public stance came with an undercurrent of skepticism. Had she truly earned the leverage to threaten a lockout? Listeners were divided. Some admired her willingness to speak up for women's basketball, while others questioned whether she had put in enough work to support such high-stakes demands. As these questions simmered, Reese stepped onto the court, and everything took a startling turn. Just when she needed a jaw-dropping game to back up her words, Reese struggled in ways even her critics couldn't have predicted. For someone proclaiming she deserved superstar pay, missing basic layups felt painfully ironic. It wasn't a single off night. It was a night that turned into a highlight reel of near-comical misfires. Fans posted clips of her missed point-blank shots on every social channel, often captioned with biting remarks like "pay her, please," or "I guess the rent was due mid-game." Observers who might have shrugged off her ultimatum a week earlier now had more to say. The conversation was no longer just about wage demands. It shifted to whether Reese's performance justified even her current contract, let alone the raise she wanted. Online sports communities buzzed. Some fans joked that she was auditioning for a bricklaying demonstration rather than playing professional basketball. Others cringed at how the WNBA's broader push for respect and higher wages suffered each time a widely publicized miss turned into a viral meme. Few moments are more uncomfortable in sports than watching a player's ambition outrun her ability in real time. But the missed shots themselves were only part of the problem. Timing is everything, and Reese's meltdown came right on the heels of her ultimatum. Instead of seizing an opportunity to prove her worth, she handed skeptics an easy punchline. It was a case study in how quickly public sentiment can swing when bold declarations aren't backed by equal parts performance. Social media, as always, became the epicenter of the storm. Fans who'd backed Reese initially, applauding her for standing up to the establishment, suddenly found themselves on the defensive. Memes multiplied. Spliced videos showed her pregame podcast side by side with missed layups, and the resulting contrast was impossible to ignore. For the league, it was a PR conundrum. On the one hand, you want players who are confident enough to demand better pay and push for league-wide progress. On the other hand, loud demands without strong showings can undermine the entire cause. Some WNBA insiders reportedly cringed each time a new clip of Reese's bloopers surfaced online. In interviews, a few veteran players chimed in with cautious support for the broader message. Yes, they agreed the WNBA needed higher salaries, but they expressed annoyance at how Reese's approach could potentially sour public perception. League officials, meanwhile, kept their comments neutral, recognizing the fragile nature of any pay-related discussions. And then came the wave of comedic jabs. She claims the league can't pay her rent. She can't even pay off that missed shot from the backboard. These sarcastic remarks stung because many fans actually wanted to see her succeed. They wanted a new face of the WNBA to usher in bigger crowds and higher ratings. But repeated misfires made it tough to see her as a standard-bearer for the league's future. Behind all the talk of boycotts and paychecks lies a stark truth. The WNBA isn't exactly swimming in profit. Reports suggest the league operates at a significant loss annually, forcing it to rely on external support and shared revenue. Angel Reese's rookie contract sits around the $70,000 range, standard for newcomers. But the league's overhead, sponsorship deals, and modest TV contracts haven't allowed salaries to skyrocket in the way men's professional leagues have. Reese stunned fans when she admitted her monthly rent alone ran around $8,000, which dwarfed her WNBA income. Suddenly, her frustration made sense on a personal level. Living expenses can quickly eclipse a rookie's salary, especially if they choose pricey accommodations. But for critics, this veered into questions of simple budgeting. Should the league restructure its entire pay scale to accommodate a player's expensive lifestyle? Or should that player accept that luxury living might have to wait until after she's truly established in her career? Complicating matters is the fact that Reese's star power hasn't yet translated into larger ticket sales, bigger TV ratings, or a direct surge in jersey purchases. Typically, leagues justify higher pay when a player demonstrably boosts revenue. Think of superstars in other sports. They command top dollar because fans pack arenas to watch them. Networks fight for broadcast rights, and sponsors scramble to attach their brands to that athlete's name. As it stands, the WNBA can't wave a magic wand to produce the millions in extra revenue that Reese's demands imply. If anything, her timing might be off. The league is still in a growth stage, testing new marketing strategies and partnerships. That's why many players who've come before her lobbied for gradual pay increases, collective bargaining, and structured revenue sharing. Yet Reese's approach seemed more personal than strategic, and it fueled a debate that won't be resolved with a single season's worth of games or a few social media posts. While Reese's missed layups and wage demands grab headlines, Caitlin Clark was quietly filling arenas and posting performances that made fans of women's basketball light up social media. Clark's style of play, spectacular shooting, flair for the dramatic, and knack for commanding the court earned her both mainstream recognition and loyal supporters who show up game after game. Wherever Clark goes, ticket sales jump. She's broken viewership records, drawn top networks to broadcast her matchups, and become a marketing darling. When she plays, casual viewers find themselves glued to the screen, eager to see what jaw-dropping feat she'll pull off next. Meanwhile, Reese's games often feel comparatively quieter, unless Clark is the rival on the other side of the court. This contrast in popularity has big implications. If you're a league official trying to negotiate new TV deals or a sponsor looking to invest in women's basketball, you're far more likely to focus on the athlete who commands consistent attention. And while Angel Reese has a flashy social media presence, Clark's steady on-court excellence translates into a more reliable financial boost for the WNBA. What's particularly striking is Clark's attitude. She acknowledges the improvements in the league but never frames herself as bigger than the game. Rather than demand special treatment, she focuses on her craft, setting personal performance goals and praising the league's progress. This humility and talent combo stands in stark contrast to Reese's approach, making fans wonder whether one star is overshadowing the other for good reason. All of this drama between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is about more than two players. It reflects deeper tensions. How do you effectively market women's basketball while also pushing for fair compensation? Is it enough to rely on the individual star power of a few standout athletes, or should the league strategize to lift every team equally? Some argue that stoking rivalries, like Reese versus Clark, is great for generating buzz. Others worry it might backfire if the rivalry turns toxic or centers on drama more than skill. Reese's ultimatum and subsequent performance meltdown demonstrate the risks. Hype can spin out of control if a player doesn't deliver on the court. Then there's the question of internal resentment. Established veterans have spent years fighting for incremental pay raises and better conditions. Now here comes a rookie with a demand for superstar money, overshadowing more measured voices within the union. Does that create friction behind the scenes? Possibly. Some insiders believe it sparks a divide between players who prefer collective bargaining and those who want to grab the spotlight solo. Still, it's undeniable that women's basketball has momentum. TV ratings for major matchups are on the upswing, and young talents like Clark and Reese do draw attention, albeit in different ways. The real question is whether that momentum can be harnessed effectively to benefit everyone. If controversies like Reese's demands overshadow consistent excellence, the league might miss out on forging a unified path forward. In the modern sports world, social media fame can propel an athlete's brand faster than ever. Angel Reese tapped into that by using her platforms to highlight personal stories, fashion choices, and behind-the-scenes looks at her life. She capitalized on her college stardom and built a recognizable name well before logging significant minutes in the WNBA. But brand building only goes so far without results. If you're claiming star status, the scoreboard can't call you out with glaring stats. Every missed layup becomes ammunition for detractors who see social media hype as empty showmanship. Fair or not, that's the ecosystem athletes navigate today. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark exemplifies another route. She also has a large social media following, but her main currency is her game. She launches deep shots, orchestrates offensive plays, and racks up triple-doubles in ways that leave even NBA fans nodding with approval. Because her numbers dazzle, her brand grows organically. She doesn't need to demand extra attention. Her performances do it for her. That dynamic is at the crux of this story, performance versus persona. Reese's persona is colorful and outspoken, which can be a boon if paired with stellar performance. But when the performance wobbles, the persona can turn into a liability. And that liability becomes even heavier when you're making high-stakes demands that hinge on your perceived value. Looking back at the whirlwind Angel Reese created, 2 points stand out. First, there's merit to calling for higher pay in a league that's been historically underfunded. Reese's frustrations are valid in the sense that many WNBA players juggle second jobs or overseas contracts just to make ends meet. The sport deserves continued growth, larger salaries, and widespread respect. Second, demands have to align with reality. If a player wants superstar treatment, the performances can't consistently fall short of expectations. The WNBA's financial puzzle isn't solved by a single rant on a podcast. It requires collaborative efforts, compelling marketing, and most importantly, players who dazzle when the lights hit the floor. Angel Reese now stands at a crossroads. Will she rise to the challenge, refine her game, and prove she truly deserves top billing? Or will she remain stuck in the echo chamber of hype that overshadows her actual performance? Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark keeps pulling in crowds, stacking up stats, and allowing fans to dream bigger for the future of women's basketball. Maybe the greatest outcome will be seeing both stars elevate the game together. But that requires a shift in approach. It means replacing hollow threats with consistent displays of skill. It means focusing on the team aspect alongside individual pay demands. And it means acknowledging that sometimes the best way to command a higher salary isn't to shout for it, but to earn it through undeniable results. One thing's certain, women's basketball is entering a pivotal era, and all eyes are locked on the players who can shape its trajectory. If Angel Reese wants the world to see her as the next face of the league, she has to tighten up those layups, refine her shot, and let her game do the talking. Otherwise, the conversation will pass her by, just like a highlight reel built by someone else's brilliant performance. What do you think? Will Angel Reese break through and legitimize her demands, or will she remain overshadowed by a new generation of talents who quietly let their numbers speak? As the WNBA continues to grow, every game, every shot, and every statement holds the power to shape perception. The final verdict comes from the fans, whose loyalty can be won or lost in the blink of an eye. Stay curious and keep watching. After all, sometimes the biggest surprises aren't the ones shouted from a rooftop, but the quiet, steady performances that redefine the game one possession at a time.